Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Duality9x. I'm your host, Shiraz, and this is a very unbelievable moment. I mean, how long has it been since we had a chance to connect? I mean, whew, it's been about a year, guys. It's been about a year since we dropped our last video. I didn't want to create another channel. I don't want to do that. I wanted to build off of this channel because we have something special going on. Duality9x is here and it's here to stay. The thing though, what's going to be a little bit different this time around is the content is going to be somewhat different. Before it was about the paranormal, the spooky, what's kind of lurking behind the shadows, what's dark and dreary and all the kind of the weird stuff that kind of goes on in the world. Don't get me wrong, a lot of that content I'm going to bring it back, but it's just going to be kind of restructured and reformatted and spun out in a little bit of a different way. I want to focus this channel a little bit more on things that kind of mean a lot to me, things that I have a genuine interest in. I want to talk about things that relate to world, like national world politics, things that relate to like sports and entertainment and, all the exciting things that are happening around the world. There's so many things that are happening. We live in such very, very exciting times right now. And I think it's really important. And it's important for me to be able to share a lot of that information because there's a lot of different there's so much stuff, that kind of it's almost like you feel like you're a goaltender in a net and things are coming at you left, right, and center from all angles in all directions. And what I want to do is to provide you with not necessarily just a regurgitated form of news content, but essentially maybe that's what I want to do. But what I want to do is to provide you with something that has a meaningful twist to it, something that comes from me, and it's essentially just kind of like a daily blast. So I'm going to be providing you guys with headlines. I'm going to be providing you with the news as it comes to me, as it is relevant to what it is that I'm trying to portray in our videos. And then of course I'm also going to do very special videos as well too, some of the videos that you've been accustomed to, things that you like, and so I promise that won't go away. What I want though is for your I want to be able to build and earn your trust. I want you guys to believe in what it is that we have here. I want to build our community again from the grassroots up, and I want to build this channel and eventually grow to new heights. So I can't do that without you guys. So here we go, and we're going to start with the headlines. And so the US just basically signed a $1.2 trillion economic agreement with Qatar. Now, if you guys have been following the news, you've been watching President Trump as he's been doing his tour throughout the Middle East, and $1.2 trillion is by no means small money. It's huge. And I'll tell you why this deal is so big, because the president himself, as you're aware, just concluded his Middle East tour, right? By securing and finalizing not just 1.2 trillion, but a total of 3.6. Get this, $3.6 trillion over a span of 4 days. I don't know of any other president, any other world leader, anybody for that matter, who's been able to drum up that much economic and financial support within such a short period of time. Now, that deal encompasses sectors such as like defense, aviation, infrastructure, and energy. All right, and that's really important. It's important to the interests of Americans, but both sides of the world. But people pretty much all throughout the world are also going to benefit from this as well. Now, the details, of course, are quite vague. They're a little bit limited, but there is an agreement, fortunately, to bolster economic development between the two countries. And this is really going to change the scope of how we view things from a geopolitical perspective. So it's going to be interesting. So I'm really excited to see what other news comes of this. I'll be making sure to provide you with as much information as things become available. The Department of Homeland Security also requests 20,000 additional National Guard troops for immigration operations. Now, if you guys have been paying attention to the news, you understand that the Department of Homeland Security has been busy, and they've requested an additional 20,000 National Guard troops to assist with immigration enforcement and operations across the nation. And when I mean the nation, I'm talking about the United States. The Pentagon is currently viewing this request, and it has sparked discussions on immigration policies and enforcement strategies on both sides of the platform. Now, we're talking about, when I talk about platform, I'm talking about the House, I'm talking about the Senate, Congress. People on both sides of the floor are debating and arguing and pretty much trying to dissect these policies as that information becomes available. People around the world, not just necessarily in the United States, but people in Canada, people, in Mexico, and people all around the world are paying attention to what's happening, in the United States, because a lot of what's happening could be, could be essentially signs of what it, what's to happen, what could happen potentially in other countries as well too. A lot of people could be affected by this, so it's going to be very important to see how what other news kind of comes out of this. But when Department of Homeland Security is asking for that many troops, obviously there's big operations coming down the pipe. Tornado outbreak in central U.S. This is, obviously there's been a lot of news on this. Actually, you know what? I feel that there's a lot more natural disasters that are happening now more than ever before. And I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but it's crazy. I mean, so essentially a severe weather system led to a tornado outbreak in the United States, both in the Midwest and Southwest, usually where a lot of these tornadoes kind of stem from. And unfortunately, it resulted in about 5 fatalities that we know of. There's also several other people that are being hospitalized. And unfortunately, there's been an extensive amount of damage in areas such as like St. Louis, Southern Illinois. These storms have caused significant property damage, including the collapse of buildings and downing of power lines. Not to mention the incredible amounts of debris and all kinds of other damage and devastation these natural disasters have caused. These have become a problem. But as I mentioned before, I feel that there's been a lot more natural disasters that are happening now than any other period that I could remember. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. Now, switching gears into the world of sports. If you guys are basketball fans, then you'll be happy to know that the Knicks have advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals. I was actually watching a video earlier with Ben Stiller and Stephen A. Smith. And, Ben Stiller has been a longtime Knicks fan. It's absolutely incredible. This was going down to the wire. And you've got Jalen Brunson, you've got Jaylen Brown, you got all these superstars, and it kind of came down, and it didn't come down to the nitty-gritty. It didn't come down to a very, very close game. The Knicks actually secured their victory 119-81 over the Boston Celtics, but it was Game 6. And that pretty much secured the New York Knicks spots in the Eastern Conference Finals. There's a lot of talk that the Knicks could go all the way and win the championship. And so if they do that, that would be absolutely huge and incredible, especially for the state of New York, but for the team itself. But the New York Knicks, I believe this is the first time in around 25 years. First time in 25 years that they've been able to advance to the to this stage. And so being able to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals, that's not a joke. You're in the big leagues, and this is it, man. This is their chance to go all the way and bring back the Larry O'Brien to New York. So that's going to be interesting. So and that ends the reign of the Celtics. The Maple Leafs in hockey in NHL. The Maple Leafs were pretty much pushed to the brink of golf season, and so Toronto lost a very heartbreaking. They had a very heartbreaking loss in Toronto. And game five, everybody thought Toronto's going to win. I mean, they're playing in front of their home crowd, but instead they ended up losing pretty badly. I mean, Florida scored 6 goals, and look, there's no easy way to put it, but the Florida Panthers stomped all over the Toronto Maple Leafs. All right. And, Canada has desperately, and I mean, it's been really tough. It's been a tough go for Canadian teams, to try to make it not just to the finals, but to try to win the cup. And so there was a lot of odds on favorite for the Toronto Maple Leafs to be one of the favorite Canadian teams to win the cup. But now you have the likes of the Edmonton Oilers, who, you know, who achieved what a lot of people didn't think could possibly happen by beating the Vegas Knights in relatively, I'm not going to say easy fashion, but they did it without having to force a game six, game seven. And yeah, I'm going to say that it looked like they did it with relative ease. I mean, hockey, any kind of sports is not easy, but they did it. And the Toronto Maple Leafs, everyone thought they were going to be destroyed today in front of the Florida Panthers crowd. The Cats, unfortunately for them, they lost, and now the Maple Leafs have forced a game seven. So now it's shifted back to Toronto, and the Maple Leafs have an opportunity to beat the defending Stanley Cup champions on home ice in front of their crowd. If they do this, it is going to be one of the biggest comebacks and one of the biggest upsets in these last few years. And I think so. And, the goaltender for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Joseph Wall, he saved 22. He had 22 saves tonight. He did incredible. Yeah, he's been keeping the Leafs in after the main goaltender, Anthony Stolars, was injured. But he's been doing a phenomenal job. And Austin Matthews scored his goal, and then it was followed by a second goal by Max Pacioretty. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. So if you're into hockey, watch it. Game 7, that's going to happen in 2 days. NCAA Softball Women's College World Series begins. The 2025 NCAA Division Softball Tournament commences with regional play starting on May 16th, which is today. A 64-team field is set to compete for the spot in the Women's College World Series, and it's going to draw significant attention. It's already drawing worldwide attention from a lot of sports enthusiasts. So that's going to be exciting to see. In the world of entertainment, well, the latest Pop Stop segment. Do we have a Pop Stop segment? No, we're gonna actually create one. But I promise this is the area we're gonna share a lot of different kinds of news on celebrity updates and entertainment industry highlights and things that just any kind of juicy, any kind of information we can talk about. So I'll be sure to make sure that we talk about at least get into like celebrity kind of gossip and those kind of things. But when it comes to new and trending movies, there is one thing I do want to talk about: Mission Impossible. Now, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. And I mean, Tom Cruise, man. Doesn't Tom Cruise look great? I mean, this guy is a bona fide movie star. And he still has his looks, and he still has that charm. And he comes back. Tom Cruise comes back as Ethan Hunt. And this is the 8th installment, right, of the Mission Impossible franchise. Some people are speculating this is the final one. But as Donald Trump would say, never say never. Never say never. I don't think this is going to be the final one, but if it is, this film has garnered so much attention worldwide. The film premiered in Tokyo on May 5th, and it was screened out of competition at the 78th Cannes Film Festival on May 14th, so just a couple days ago. And it's scheduled for theatrical release in the United States on May 23rd by Paramount Pictures. Now, again, this film has received a lot of positive reviews from critics all around the world. So I'm excited. I wish I could get a chance to see this movie before, but it is going to be one for the ages. It's going to be a treat, so I'm excited. We also have Final Destination Bloodlines. Now, this is the latest entry in a Destination horror franchise. If you guys have been following any of the Final Destination films, yeah, they're pretty scary stuff, right? So Bloodlines premiered in Indian cinemas on May 15th, just yesterday. And the first day collection was pretty steady. It obviously, there's there's a series of, like, traditional supernatural kind of content with a little bit of horror and action, thriller, suspense. So I don't want to give it away, but these videos kind of make you think a little bit. So when you get a chance, definitely see if you can watch that. Final Destination's Bloodline, and we talked about Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. And we also have this movie called Hurry Up Tomorrow. It's got some big movie stars. Well, actually, movie singers, entertainment stars. Abel Tesfaye, The Weeknd, and Jennifer Ortega, to name a few. This movie was directed by Trey Edward Schultz, and it serves as a feature-length visual companion to The Weeknd's album of the same name, and is set to release in theaters today, May 16th, 2025. Hurry up tomorrow. You better hurry up and catch it where you can at a theater nearby. Let's see what's on the watch list. Murderbot, it's a sci-fi series based on popular books, available on Netflix. Andor, a new Star Wars series, and it's streaming on Disney. So Andor, a lot of people have been talking about this. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. That's something I definitely want to watch. And if you guys haven't already, you guys got to watch the movie Minecraft movie. I think that's absolutely incredible. One of I actually watched this film, and I loved it. I mean, it's an animated adventure film, pretty much for all ages. You guys got to watch it. I don't want to give it away, but that's one of the things that I want to do. Is I want to talk a little bit more about movies. But I love the Minecraft movie, and I think you guys are in for a treat. You guys got to watch it. And celebrity entertainment gossip. Okay, here we got some stuff. We got Billie Eilish. She slammed AI generated Met Gala photos. Obviously, Billie Eilish is not a fan of AI photos. A lot of people aren't. She's spoken about AI photos for quite some time, actually. And while attending the 2025 Met Gala, by the way, did you see the amount of stars that came to this thing? Absolutely incredible. But basically it sparked a lot of criticism online. And she clarified that she had a show in Europe that night and did not attend the event because of all the issues that she has with this. You guys got to read into this a little bit more. It's absolutely, she kind of goes, I mean, I don't know, she kind of goes into a little bit of detail of, like, her, her concerns and issues with this, but she's not the only one. There's a lot of people who are really concerned about AI generated kind of photos. But will AI go away? No, I don't think so. It's going to be here to stay. Bruce Springsteen biopic, Deliver Me Now, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Obviously set for an October release. This is a biopic about Bruce Springsteen, and it's titled Deliver Me From Nowhere, and it's already been announced. The release date set for October this year, 2025, and it's going to essentially explore the life and the music of this iconic music legend, Bruce Springsteen. Can't wait to watch it. And we've got next week a live action CGI remake of the Disney classic Lilo and Stitch, and it's set to release on May 23rd of 2025, and it's gonna star Maya Kiloa as Lilo, and features Chris Sanders reprising his role as Stitch. Lilo and Stitch movie combines heartfelt storytelling with stunning visuals. This is something that I definitely want to watch, and of course, I've been a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of dinosaurs. You guys like dinosaurs? I love dinosaurs. Jurassic Park, one of the most iconic films ever made in history. Well, Jurassic World Rebirth, directed by Gareth Edwards, a new installment in the Jurassic World franchise, stars Scarlett Johansson. Mahershala Ali and Jonathan Bailey. This film is set to release July 2nd, 2025. Mark it in your calendars. That's July 2nd, 2025, and promises to bring fresh excitement to the dinosaur age. I'm excited. Guys, that is the highlights. I tried to, I wanted to do this like in a matter of like a few minutes, and unfortunately I can't. I tried to talk really fast, and so sometimes I talk faster than the words are, but that those are the highlights for May 16, 2025. I'm going to bring you guys some exciting highlights tomorrow. And if you guys like and hear what you see, please hit and smash that like button, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, and I look forward to catching you guys on the next one.